Dan made me a prototype a couple of months ago. By the way, hi Dan.
Hello.
We're calling this new wallet the Lucky Wallet. So Dan, tell me, how did you come up with this design?
Well, you know, we're always trying to come up with new designs and something fresh. And I was kind of inspired by like the Gus. Kind of thought about making a vertical Gus that would be easy to put in and out of your front pocket. A little bit slimmer with a couple of cards inside and an easy access on the outside.
So I think right there, that easy access card slot on the back. And by the way, I think this was the first production sample that we had from months ago. This one happens to be in brown cypress.
Right.
That quick access slot on the back, that's for me where it's at. And that's what I like most about the Capone. That's what I like most about this wallet, is just how easy that slot is to use compared, and I mean, I still use the ones in the inside, but the back quick access is where I put all the go-to stuff.
Yeah, me too. Like, I like using the Capone as well, but this carries a little bit thinner because you don't have the money clip and you don't have the extra cards on this side.
Yeah, I'm sure you noticed on mine, I'm carrying an absurd amount of cards and cash in here.
Yeah, that wasn't really the intent, but...
Yeah, I put everything, I
like
just
really
transferred everything from the Herbie right into the Lucky.
Yeah.
And it works great. Like it absorbs it. I don't think this was the original intent. I think it's supposed to be a little bit more minimalist. Right. And I would say, you know, one of the things I was surprised at how much I liked was this cash slot, which I think is what's unique about the Lucky. How did you come up with this open-ended cash, like vertical cash compartment?
I'm just playing around with it. I also kind of thought about the Joe Batters, like making a more minimalist version of that. So if you look at it, really, it's kind of like Joe Batters and Capone had a baby.
Right, it's got that skip stitch that's sort of stitched a tiny bit of the way down on the edge.
Yeah, and easier to access cash there.
Yeah, so one of the things I noticed too, so the cash thing, like we had some feedback from people that tried out prototypes of the Lucky Wallet as well as the Joe Batters. And we noticed that if people put a ton of cards in, like I have, it makes it a little bit more difficult to get cash inside and out of. I actually am surprised that I'm not having an issue with that. I think I have this loaded up triple what we think people ought to do. Like, for example, it's 7 cards in the back. We're only recommending 1 to 3 cards in each slot. But when you have so much card carry in this wallet, it makes the cash slot a little harder to use. Honestly, I don't find it to be that bad. And I'm using the cash in 2 different ways. I can fold cash in half and hide everything back behind here, which sort of reduces some of the usability, because when you don't fold it in half, you can more quickly see what you're working with and sort of grab one of the bills more quickly as opposed to folding it and pulling it all out. So, I mean, I've just got these in and out pretty easily now, but I would say that that's the drawback of this design, is it's a little bit less easy to use than something like the Herbie or the Johnny the Fox, right?
Well, I've been using it, like the way I use it, I don't have mine on me right now, but I kind of pull them out this way.
You didn't have trouble putting that in just there either.
No, but the more you wear it, you know, it'll break in.
The other thing that people get freaked out by is if I just show them this unfolded Lucky Wallet without the flap down. Same with the Gus. This is a little bit confusing to people. Is like, how does that stay down?
Well, it kind of molds into place after a few days, like this one. A lot of it has to do with the veg retans that are in here. This is a full veg.
We're exclusively making this in veg tan leathers with no snaps and no bands. Was there a thought process there? I remember on the Gus, I had a specific desire to not have to tuck the flap into a band, but were you thinking along that direction?
I thought about a band. I just, like, if you have the cash in here and you put this, the leather under the band, like the cash, like what do you do with the cash? Like you have to fold it under the band too. So that didn't really work unless you're going to fold your cash, or unless you're not going to carry cash at all. We could add a band if, you know, somebody wants to have that option.
Did you prototype one with any other closures? Just out of curiosity.
No, not really. The only thing I really prototyped a little bit is like the size of the flap. A little wider. The original version was a little narrower. So just played it around. We only did about 3 or 4 until we nailed the final.
I'll say this, I remember when we were designing the Gus card case, we had several versions with different bands to hold that flap in place. And I think maybe just trust me on this one. It was terrible to use a wallet having to put that flap underneath a little band. It's just obnoxious to use. I find just letting the leather mold around everything is much, much better.
Yeah.
So thanks for a great design, Dan. I've been honestly, I was surprised how much I like this because I'm just a Fat Herbie guy. Yeah. Like every time I try out a new wallet, I sort of immediately end up back in the Herbie, but I think you'll find me wearing this one.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you like it. That is literally once we got the dice, that was the first one that you stole from Skip. So I had to make him another one.
I'm going to let Dan get out of here, but before I go, I wanted to give you a closer look, loading this guy up, taking the cards, cash in and out, and also tell you about some of the special different colors and leathers that you can pre-order. All right, leather friends, let's take a closer look at the Lucky Wallet. We've got this one in English Tan Dublin. This is our most popular leather and color. I love the vibrant orangey tan shade of this leather, and it also has a really beautiful burst effect. As I flex the leather, you can see the color start to lighten up down the spine. And by flexing the leather, we're mobilizing some of the hard wax that was finished onto the surface of this grain, and we're displacing it and showing a little bit of the underside of the leather. And as Dan mentioned, on the Lucky Wallet, on the inside, we have 2 card holders and 1 vertical cash slot in the center there. And then on the back, we have that 1 quick access card slot. Let me show you how I've been using my brown Cypress Lucky Wallet. I'm gonna open up the flap and you'll notice it wants to stay closed, and that's going to happen with any vegetable tan leather. It tends to want to keep its shape, as we talked about with Dan. Let me open this guy up, show you the cash on the inside. Of course, I'm blinging. I got so much cash, but I have this cash used in 2 ways. I have a couple larger bills in the back that are not folded at all, and then I also have some bills folded in half here. Getting cash in and out of this one can be a little bit tricky if you have as many cards inside as I do, but let me just show you how I put the cash on the inside. It can be a little bit tricky, like I said, with all those cards inside of here, and especially while talking and doing it, but it should lay flat in there and be fully concealed on the inside. The other way that I've found to be very useful is to fold the bills in half and just slide them in like this, and that way they are fully concealed all together. I'm not going to give away my cards here, but on the back there are 7 cards on the back side here, and then each of the slots on the inside I have 4 cards. So let me flip these around backwards to show you. So it turns out the back sides of my cards had a little bit of personal identification on it, so I swapped it out for a plain black card here. Again, 5 cards going in to the inside slot. This is more than we recommend. It will certainly do it, and I've been carrying it this way for a while. We don't recommend doing it this way. You can fit another 3 cards on the slot underneath and then 3 in the back. Let me show you how this one works. On the back, this is the slot that I find to be most useful. I've got it stretched out for 7 cards right now. This is a good opportunity to demonstrate a concern that I have for some people. Sometimes if you start with 7 cards and reduce it down to 5 like this, the slot can be a little bit loose because again, that leather wants to conform around everything you put inside of it. So you can always add more cards, but sort of reducing down to less cards might leave you a little bit of a loose slot like you can see on this one. I've been showing you this English Tan Dublin Lucky Wallet this whole video, and of course you will be able to pre-order this leather, which happens to be our most popular leather in color. We also have some other cordovan and non-cordovan options to show you. Again, English Tan Dublin. The one we were looking at this time in the video has a Horween measuring machine stamp in it. Normally we don't have them. They'll appear more like this one here. Here's another one in color number 8 Dublin. A little bit of a darker brown with some of those reddish burgundy undertones. You can really see the color pop out a little bit more as you reveal the undertones by flexing the leather and mobilizing some of the wax that you see there. Here's one of my favorite colors. This is the royal blue cypress. And then we have another one in the brown cypress, which is a good chance for me to show you how this leather has worn in for me over the last couple of months. And getting to the shell cordovan, here's one in black shell cordovan. Most of them will not have the Horween USA measure stamp here. Instead, they will have most likely the Horween shell cordovan stamp. The other great thing about the black shell cordovan Lucky Wallet is the black hand stained edges, which I think clean it up very nicely. We also have black shell for the quick access card slot. Here's one in the classic color 8 shell cordovan, dark brown burgundy shade, kind of similar to the color 8 Dublin we were looking at earlier. The Dublin's a little bit darker. We get a little bit more of those red tones on the shell cordovan. Here's a look at the back side of this. We also have hand-stained Color 8 edges for the Color 8 shell Lucky Wallet. And last but not least is the natural shell cordovan. If you're looking for patina, this one will certainly give you the most dramatic patina possible. So thanks so much for checking out our brand new wallet. Let me know what you guys think of this one, and if you want, you can pick one up for pre-order. We're going to offer limited slots for the pre-order of this first run of our Lucky Wallets. Hopefully you like it as much as I have, and until next time, I hope you have a good one.